Hi, my name is Wendy,
And my name is Mercedes.
and we're doing our presentation on the AB 101 Ethnic Studies and High School Policy. To start off, California is making history with AB 101 and it being the first state to mandate an ethnic studies course for graduation starting with the class of 2030. The goal here is truly captured by this quote from Reagan, which says, "All, regardless of race or class or economic status, are entitled to a fair chance and to the tools for developing their individual powers of mind and spirit to the utmost," which is important because when students feel included in the curriculum, they learn they are more likely to be engaged. And looking at how this applies to Paris Union High School District, it currently serves nearly 12,000 students across 9 institutions, which one is an online learning program. And the core mission and vision center on creating a safe, supportive, and diverse environment that fosters growth, critical thinking, and innovation for everyone. Looking closely at who our students are, we have a highly diverse student body. The vast majority of our population, nearly 70%, identify as Hispanic or Latino, followed by white students at 13% and African American students at just over 6%. Overall, the ethnic diversity index sits at 33, reflecting that one major group makes up the clear majority of our student community, which would be great to implement this bill so that the vast majority can not only learn about their history, but learn about other marginalized groups' history. So some key data points from this is that, as you can see, the suspension rates, English learner progress, college prep, and science are all on the right track, while the core academics and graduation rate need a little bit of support. And by implementing this bill, it can create an inclusive curriculum that drives student engagement, which can improve the school's absenteeism and graduation rate. So why do we like this bill? First, this is an opportunity many of us missed out on during our own high school years, something we truly could have valued. And by transitioning this from an elective to a core requirement, we send a powerful message to students that their backgrounds are valued and included. Beyond the cultural impact, the data supports this move. Implementing this curriculum is tied directly to improvements in core student metrics, including better attendance, higher GPAs, and increased graduation rates. Ultimately, it keeps students engaged by connecting them to their own family histories while teaching them to respect and value the diverse backgrounds of their peers. So from this quote, it says, however, Jenkins' argument that we must pay greater attention to the quality of life within our educational institutions had its roots in ethical and political considerations and was dismissed rather readily, which essentially Jackson believes schools should focus on improving students' daily happiness and overall well-being, and push this idea because of his personal beliefs about fairness and human.
So the goals of schooling. The first one will be democratic equality. And as this quote mentions, the key characteristic of the new common school was not its curriculum or pedagogy, but its commonality. It brought young people together into a single building where they engaged in a shared social and cultural experience meant to counter the differences of social class that posed a serious threat to Republican identity. As we know, students deserve a proper education and understanding of the curriculum. Historically, Republicans were viewed to be the Democrats of today's society. So if we include this goal, we can expand the perspectives of um, diversity and being able to understand each other. And our goal is to improve democratic equality by incorporating the diversity of student cultures and experiences while bringing young mindsets into classrooms. The second goal would be social efficiency, and mentioned by the Reagan administration. It states that excellence characterizes a society that has adopted these policies, for it will then be prepared through the education and skill of its people to respond to the challenges of a rapidly changing world. And as mentioned in the reading, this shapes the performance of how students achieve in school and being able to benefit from the standpoint of having it in minority populations. We need to think about the characteristics of what it brings to students. For example, more diversity and recognition in society. And in order for students to achieve excellence, the best solution would be allowing them to learn more about the culture and more about the peers as well. And then the last goal would be social mobility. If we, as mentioned in the quote, if we are unwilling to desegregate our schools and unwilling to fund them equitably, we find ourselves not only backing away from the promise of the Brown decision, but literally refusing even to take Lessee seriously. If we properly fund this curriculum, we can definitely help students with equal opportunities and being able to consider this course to identify their personalities. Also, our goal is to provide funding for students from different cultural backgrounds, and this policy can also help desegregate classrooms or schools, which can also help develop more opportunities. And as the quote mentions about previous cases, if we acknowledge those previous cases, we can understand how it represents in schools and in classrooms as well. Next slide. And what do we want to change? And what do we want to add? So first of all, funding definitely for um, better equipped materials and textbooks, and then one semester requirements. So as we move on to adding, we definitely want to add 4 semester requirements. So that's towards juniors or seniors, and include the ethnic study courses needed for graduation, such as Native Americans, African Americans, Latinos, and Asian Americans, which can expand more diversity into classrooms. And for the students who want to learn more about the culture, and then receiving more funding is something that we definitely need for to properly care for these courses as well.
So, although we like this bill, there are areas of concerns that we need to keep on our radar. So, first, the budget. The legislation allows the superintendent to use existing state resources, federal funds, or even private grants, but funding for day-to-day classroom materials isn't completely granted, in which teachers are unable to provide the best educational experience. Second, the curriculum specifics. The guidelines don't explicitly indicate which courses or how many each school must provide. Third, professional development. We have to ensure that our educators are thoroughly trained and supported to teach this material. And finally, the social aspect. We need to be proactive about managing sensitive or controversial topics that naturally arise during these discussions.
So who can it affect? It can definitely affect teachers by receiving like negative reactions from parents. Then we could also experience students feeling a need to divide because of how students view different students differently. Certain ethnic groups feeling excluded. There can be exclusion, and those can be seen directly towards specific students, definitely those who are impacted by these courses. Uh, Teachers are not properly being trained, or even freshmen and sophomores, since this course is required for students to take it during their like higher level grades. They could either feel curious about the course or even impatient to take. And then parents, as this new bill can lead to, as mentioned in this quote, it states that the notion that people today, even children, bear responsibility for sins of the past and those that emphasize American racism over even more unifying, uplifting elements of U.S. history. According to this quote, we can understand that the history that is being taught is in regular courses can be affected by the ideology and has been that has been Americanized or even wanting to change. Having more courses like these can benefit students better understanding of diversity and telling the truth of these courses. And then taking time away from core subjects such as math, English, and elective courses. These courses are the normal requirements for A through G, and sometimes in order to establish those courses, there should be ways to distinguish proper establishment for for this policy as well. Next slide. And so the cost and funding. Um, we noticed that for 4 teachers times $80,000 times 9 institutions will cost us $2,880,000. When it comes for teachers having the best education experience, we can definitely develop a good salary for them to have. And since this requirement is new, this can also benefit for students who are taking this course and like can expand more into diversity. And now we're looking into the textbook materials, 25 students plus one more teacher, 4 ethnic courses, 9 institutions, and the average cost of textbooks, which is 120, will equal to $108,000, which I know it seems to be a lot, but it benefits students' understanding of the material while also addressing issues in society as well. The best quality textbooks can demonstrate what students can miss out in normal education courses. So this can definitely benefit them as a big group. Thank you for